Welcome back to the Keri Croft Show. What kind of person chooses to carry someone else's baby? Not once, but twice. In this episode, I sit down with my dream surrogate, Skye, and her incredible husband, Jason, the two people who helped bring my baby girl, Kyle, into this world. Skye opens up about the moment she realized this path was meant for her. She knew she loved being pregnant and felt deeply called to help another family experience the kind of joy she already knew so well. And Jason shares what it took to get on that same page, navigating the complex emotions, the deep love, and the hard conversations that made them stronger as a couple. We get into all of it, the honest talks with their kids, the sideways glances from strangers, and the emotional weight of carrying a baby for someone else. Skye felt everything, but she carried it all with perspective, with clarity, with the kind of emotional strength most people never get to witness up close. And for me, this is deeply personal. I will forever be grateful to them for their courage, their trust, and their willingness to help another family come to life. Their story is a testament to what can happen when two families walk forward with love, respect, and purpose. If you're considering surrogacy or just want a deeper understanding of what it really looks like, this conversation is for you. Start your journey to parenthood with Pinnacle Fertility Ohio. We offer IVF, surrogacy, genetic testing, and more, accepting all insurances and offering flexible payment plans. Your dream of parenthood begins with Pinnacle Fertility Ohio's immediate affordable care. Book now at rgiohio.com. Okay, I mean, guys, I wouldn't be more excited if I had like Denzel Washington in here or some like.
You're so
I literally, my heart skipped a beat when you said that you guys were here. I was like, I miss you. Well, for everyone out there, this is Skye and Jason. Skye was my surrogate, and Jason was. I mean, what do we even say about you?
Know.
I mean, we got to go. No,
the guy
you
behind
were,
the guy.
You were the. I mean, you were so great.
Yeah.
You were so fucking great from the beginning, from the moment I met you guys. I mean, you were just such a supportive, but authentically like genuinely supportive.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
you.
in for the like outwardly supportive. There was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that was.
We're gonna get into
difficult.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah, we is. Well, let's start with this because if you're listening right now and you haven't listened to Skye's previous episode where you basically told everyone how you guys met and got married, okay, which was like this big, you open Pandora's box. Everyone knows now.
Yeah.
Right, and that's cool and it's all good.
Yes.
The kids, were they like, whatever?
The girls, I don't remember.
I don't even know. Yeah, I was gonna say they were young. I mean, they were young. I don't know how much it
I've
sank
actually
in.
talked to the girls about it more recently. Now that they're older, they ask questions now. So I've kind of gone over the story with them again a couple times, and I'm like, but don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So new listeners, you're like, what the hell are you guys talking about? And you're probably already annoyed with me, which, okay, pump the brakes. Basically, Skye and Jason like knew each other for 10 seconds, went to Vegas, got hitched. The rest is history. Like they did the thing. And I bring that up. I tee it up with that because I think that it takes a certain personality to look at surrogacy and go, oh, great, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to start with, because Skye, you were a surrogate twice. We were your second, albeit favorite, family. I'm a little territorial. But when she first came to you, Jason,
Yes.
give us an idea of like where you were in your lives, how she teed up the conversation.
It's the second one. This is yours.
This is the first one.
Oh,
the first
one.
time you ever heard that this woman had this glimmer in her eye to carry another person's child.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. I think that I know her and I know how she is, and I know that when she gets passionate about something, she'll listen to me, but not really hear what I'm saying. And for me. And I say this about her with everything. She wants to take care of everybody. She wants to take care of the kids and her parents and my parents and me. And so there's nobody to take care of her. And so my number one priority in any situation is her. And that was the first thing that I said. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying. You want to do this? How is this going to affect you? Is this like we had issues getting pregnant. We had there were issues, postpartum issues with our kids. And so my concern was her. So I don't think that it sunk in what was really being asked of the two of us. I think it was more, how is this going to affect her? That's what I immediately went to. And, you know, I think that once I knew that she was going to be okay, then it was, okay, so am I going to be okay? So then it's more, that's when, you know, I kind of started thinking about how I was going to react to it. And in the end, I need somebody in my life that believes in humanity, and that's her. And so I have to back her up when she's doing something that she feels so strongly about. I know that all the intentions are good. I know that she's doing it for all of the right reasons. I know she may not think it through completely, because it's, again, putting everyone else in the world first. But I know that what she's doing is a good thing. And so I think in the end, we went back and forth with the first one. I mean, it was weeks and weeks of discussions back and forth. It was probably a month before we even met the couple. I mean, it was a minute just us talking about it. And then we met them, and the first meeting we had with them was great. And it, you know, it kind of, that put my mind at ease a little bit, because that's the other thing. We didn't know them. I don't want to say, I'm going to let my wife sacrifice all of this, like all of these issues that she could have, all of these concerns that I had for random people. I didn't know who they are. I mean, I don't want to give up on our end for people that don't deserve it.
It has to feel aligned.
100%.
You knew you were doing it, right? You're like, I'm just like most women, right? So like, guys, just spoiler alert. Here's what goes down. Okay, here's what goes down. So the women get this idea, and they are already like, okay, I'm doing this, right? Yep, I'm doing this. And we're already sold and bought in, and hell hath no fury, like someone try to like get in our way. So we just wait to break your ass down. So you guys can make it easy on yourselves. You can make it hard. So you just knew, like, was it always something, or did something hit you one day where you were like?
It just hit me one day. Like, a family friend came to us and like kind of brought up the idea, because a family friend of hers was the one that needed the surrogate. And so as soon as she mentioned it, I was like, how have I never thought about that before? Like, I loved being pregnant. And I would love to be able to help another family achieve something like that. And it was just like, yeah, I had never thought about it before then.
Knowing you, it's like, of course. It's like there was never a better,
it makes total sense.
Oh,
it makes total sense.
I mean, my God, you know, like in my workshop that I created, it's called Find Your Dream Surrogate. I mean, you are the dream. You're a dream person, let's be honest, but like you're a dream surrogate.
Thank you.
For sure. Describe your relationship and like your dynamic in 3 words. And you guys need to agree on those 3 words.
We have to agree on it?
Yeah, like throw some out, and then you guys need to agree on what they are.
Compromise.
Ugh, I knew you were going to say that.
Is a word?
Hate that
Are we
word?
gonna do?
Okay.
Before we ever even got together, the day before, the day we did get married, like the day we went out, we were at the beach.
When you were figuring out each other's last names.
Yeah, no, we hadn't done that yet. That came much later.
You're like, my last
That
name,
came when we were
header
in line.
sheet. Oh, that has a nice ring to it.
No,
We were in line for a marriage license when I found that out. Just so you know.
And that day,
Fucking so great.
we went. Just her and I went to the beach together that day, and we were talking about just random things, and the idea of marriage just came up. And I was like, I don't plan on ever getting married because I hate the thought of compromising. I don't want to have to change any part. Like, I like who I am. I don't want to have to change any part of me.
You said, I don't want to feel obligated to go to like her work function.
Work functions, yeah.
If I don't want to. And I was like, that seems normal.
Yeah. And so I think that was the
Compromise is a weird word.
Yeah, it is.
But I will say marriage is a negotiation. Every relationship is a negotiation.
And I like negotiation much better.
Than
Because then I don't feel like I'm giving in. I'm saying my side, she's saying her side, and we come to a common ground.
You're saying you guys are good at that, though.
Yes.
So,
We
okay,
are
so
now.
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness is a big one. Yeah, that's more so on her, more so on her end.
Oh, I
have
can't
to forgive
imagine.
Sometimes, but
Jason, I can't imagine you being at all challenging.
challenging. I like that. I like that word though.
I would
Challenging
never-
doesn't have a negative connotation to it.
No, I think you would be just perfect.
I have my
Okay, number
moments.
3.
Patience. I think
yeah.
and that's on both of our. We are very, very different people. Just at our cores, we're different. And so being able to listen to each other patiently, being open-minded about what the other one is saying. That's something, I mean, I work on that. I still work on that a lot.
So do I.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not working on it, you probably have a problem.
Yes. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I mean, you
You've
should
probably
be
checked out.
Yeah,
you
we
need
just
to
said
be
this.
you
Yeah,
need to be working on that all the
Show
time.
me a couple that says they don't work on it, and I'll show you two liars.
Or
Chance.
you're
Or
just
they're
checked out
waiting
and
to
like,
get divorced.
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
This just in. Marriage, it be work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Work. W-E-R-K.
Yeah. Yes.
Exclamation point.
100%.
So you basically, so she brings this to you and you knew, even though you were going back and forth, you're like, I'm losing this. I better get on board. We're doing this thing.
Yeah.
And you're kind of shitting your pants.
Yes. Not kind of.
You were totally
Fully.
shitting your pants.
Fully.
And then how did you guys broach it with the kids? And did they even flinch?
So at this point,
The first time around, they were young. Colin was
Little.
old enough. He knew exactly
Yeah.
what was going on. Let's see. Caitlin had just been born. So Caitlin was 1.
yeah.
So that means Riley was 5 and Colin was 7. So Colin and Riley kind of knew. We just told them very kind of plainly, like, Mommy's going to help this family have a baby. We bought a book about it that we read to Caitlin.
And then we kept them very involved. They talked to the baby. They talked to the baby. Talked to Mommy's belly. Like we almost like it was gonna be their sibling.
Yeah.
But they knew that the baby
knew,
was not
yeah.
coming home with
Yeah.
us, like from day 1.
Yeah.
And they got to meet the family and hang out with the family. They did have a daughter who was Riley's age.
Yeah.
So like they got to hang out and play. And so they knew that the baby was going to that family. And so, yeah, we just kept everybody involved.
Yeah.
So next step is, family and friends. What are you what are they gonna think, and how do we? Or did you guys really not even care too much about that?
We didn't really take friends into consideration. I did talk to my parents about it because I'm close with my parents. And of course, they are a lot like Jason, like worried about me. Like, how hard is it going to be on my body? Because I had just had Caitlin. I was even older at that time as far as pregnancy is concerned. So, but in the end, they know me well enough to like him, just get behind my back.
And really with as far as, and my mom was the one who suggested the idea. So because
His mom worked at the infertility
at
office.
at the clinic, and so it really that wasn't a big deal. And as far as our friends go, I mean, we didn't take our friends into consideration when we got married. I think that's one thing that we are very good about
Not
is
outside influences.
It's really us. We make decisions based on us, and we don't really, for better or for worse, don't really care what anyone else thinks.
Yeah. Any awkward, weird moments with people, like intrusive questions or like stupid stuff where you're
everything. That was my favorite. It was my favorite because then I constantly got to say, "Oh yeah, my wife's pregnant with someone else's kid," and just watch people's
their
face. Oh my god, like their face. They'd be like, it went from smiling
Like,
to just
"Congratulations."
completely dropped immediately.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun for both of them.
Oh,
for both of the surrogacies.
I'm sure.
It was amazing. I loved it because it was. Oh, my wife's pregnant with someone else's baby. Oh, this is uncomfortable. And I'm like, it's okay. I know the people. It's fine. Just make it even weirder. It was
That's so
fun.
great.
And she would get so angry and be like, no, I'm a surrogate. It's fine.
I was just uncomfortable. I wasn't angry. I just don't like the uncomfortable.
And he likes
and
it.
he
I
loves
love it. Oh, it was
I mean, I feel like
amazing.
that's good. Like you at least you're owed that, right? You
Yes.
could have a little fun with it.
Yes,
So fast
absolutely.
forward, you're 43 at the time when you got the inquiry about moi.
Yeah.
Now I can only speak from my side of things, but I would love to hear your raw and uncut kind of point of view on when the day that we met. So of course, just give a quick background for, again, people who haven't listened or are new to the scene. We had recently lost Jade. I was in a complete mental, juggernaut. We put this whole thing together, Dr. Shepard and I, and we get this, Dr. Shepard's like, we got this email. She sounds really cool. And she's like reading it to me over the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, she sounds really lovely. And so we were trying not to get our hopes up. And it was like, I just need to convince my husband. And we're like, behind the scenes, we're like, fuck, yeah, we're going to convince the husband, all right. And we were like going back and forth, like, who is this guy? Like, how hard is he going to fight? We usually win. We always win this. So we're like having these like, back and forth. Is he gonna say yes?
Just
What's he gonna do?
It's gonna be this battle. Just assuming.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Well, probably because of the way I wrote the email.
Well, and because you were 43 at the time, and because you've done it before, and this is our point of view, right? So you got this guy who already was on board once. You're now 43. Like, okay, we have to we were really hanging on to, like, we knew that was a big thing. Like, we were like picturing, like, oh my God, when are they, how, we were just like, because we really had this vibe about you and your name, Skye. We're like, oh, is this the universe? So we get to the point with you talk to your OB, you talked to, Jason's a go, and then we were having the meeting. I had 2 left feet. It was like I was 16 getting ready to like go on my first date. I was looking out the window. You guys, you pull up with your kids. I was like, and Dr. Shepard was there, Brady was there, and we go outside and we sit together at the picnic table. So what was your debrief after you guys left?
You want to start?
And not to toot your horn or anything, but
toot, baby.
It was so comfortable. Like, and I do not like to meet new people. It is not my thing. I have the same 2 friends I've had for the last 20 years. I don't need new friends. I don't need new people in my life. I've got a nice little core. And so for me to be comfortable when I first meet someone that's something. It doesn't happen all the time. And from the time I walked in, like just when you came out, you and I have talked and you say that I have this energy. The energy that you brought out of that house, I was like, oh my God, like came up, hugged us immediately. Like everything felt very, very natural. And I think that when we left, it was a relief for me that we had made the right decision. And I say we, in the end, she's going through the majority of it, but it is a decision that we both have to make. Yeah. And we accept it. You accept that, I accept that. And in the end, it was like, man, this is it.
I remember getting in the car and just being like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like, this is so meant to be.
I want to hang out with these people.
Yeah,
I want to party with these people. I want to party with you.
Yeah, we were like, when can we hang out with them again?
We got to set something up now.
Well, it's funny. It's like I don't know. And like, it's funny. Actually, I understand. I say it's funny, but I understand totally when you say you hate meeting new people. Someone would never get that from you. Yeah. Because you're so seemingly extroverted, but I'm the same way where I have that same internal thing. You had such a like quiet, but like I knew like a strong presence. I just felt so safe, like knowing I'm like, if I had the honor, like if she will have me, how blessed, how lucky are we to have her? Like I was sitting next to you just like, oh my gosh. And then I felt the same way. Like I'm like, they're gonna be at Kyle's Sweet 16. Like, I mean, this is like, I knew it. And like, I know when I talk to people now, because I have become this advocate for people in this workshop, and I'm now offering like doing one-on-one, like walk with you to find the surrogate. When I talk to couples, I have to kind of temper my experience a little bit because it almost feels too good to be true.
Unattainable for
It's
others.
unbelievable, right? Like, and I that's what I tell people. I have actually this girl who's going through it right now, and she's so sweet, and she's asking me a lot of questions. And recently, she sent me a text, and she said, "Did your surrogate?" Or she said, "Did you have a baby shower? And did you invite the surrogate? And did you get her and all I did was send her the photo of you in the middle of all my friends." I go, it's kind of, it was kind of her baby shower. And like, yes, I'm like, I treated her like a queen because I wanted to, and she liked it, and we both loved it. I'm like, again, I'm not trying to say this is right for everyone, but it was just so fucking great. Yes. And it still can, like, my excitement to see you guys today probably isn't the average. You're like standing out there. I'm like, oh yeah, there they are. So, I mean, feeling was mutual. Give a little behind the scenes though of like when she's pregnant with somebody else, it's 9 months. Mm-hmm. She's in a bad mood or she's tired. And like all this stuff causes stress. It causes tension, but now it's like stress and tension on behalf of like, I don't care how much you like Brady and I, you're like, fuck these guys. They're out, living their same life and I'm dealing with this shit. Like, how did like arguments or like, were you salty sometimes or were you like How did that work?
I would love to say, like, I would love to have this story about all of this conflict that we had and how we overcame it was this difficult time. It just wasn't. I don't know if it's because we had been through it before. I don't know if we've been through a lot of shit in our marriage, like us as a couple. We've been through a lot of stuff. I mean, you get married, you don't even know a person, so you spend your first year getting to know them. That's like your first year of dating. It's amazing. Well, then the second year is like your first year of marriage, which from what I'm told is brutal for most people. And so we went through a lot of shit. And so I think that we have a strong relationship. Foundation. And so I think, and it helped that we had just moved into a house that had a pool. So that summer, like, I was enjoying the pool, and she was pregnant, but she was able to get into the. I mean, it was. I don't know. There wasn't a lot of that arguments and conflict. I don't know.
And I think that's good to hear. I think that's good for people to hear. Yeah. That I think when you're both on board with something and you feel aligned in it, and that you're doing something like this, because I think the point that I want people to understand. There's a lot of them, but it sounds so overwhelming and so crazy, but it's really not. I mean, it is like pregnancy is very serious. I'm not trying to minimize that, but it isn't like, I don't know. I think it doesn't have to be like this huge, crazy, wild thing.
It is what you make of it.
Yeah.
For sure. 100%. And pregnancy always like chills me out anyways.
And it helps that she's had good pregnancies. Like I don't know. I can't speak to, having a rough pregnancy and what you go through, like as the husband, what you go through if your wife is sick all the time, feels like crap all the time,
bed rest,
upset, grumpy all the time. I just didn't have to deal with that. And so I think that made it a little easier for me. When she's sick, I like taking care of her. That's not a problem for me. So I don't mind. I always say I'd much rather take care of her than have to have her take care of me. So that's why when I'm sick, I just go lock myself in my room and tell everyone to stay the hell away from me. But when she's sick, I want to be right next to her the whole time, And so I think that because of that, I don't know, she doesn't want me to take care of her all the time. And so a lot of times she doesn't even tell me she's not feeling well. So I think we just,
the pool definitely helped a lot. When I was uncomfortable, I would just go float in the pool.
Pools in the summer always help.
Do you feel like the surrogacy experience brought you guys closer?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that, and again, to your point, talking, it has to be weird for you talking to other people that go through difficulty finding a surrogate and then having to interview multiple surrogates and just not clicking, and it just doesn't work out. And, it worked out so well for us. The pregnancy went so well for us. There just weren't, we had the hiccup there the one time and we just, kind of reset ourselves and got right back into it and everything was fine. So I think that, and again, it's all about, when it comes to the surrogate, it's all about the relationship with her partner. Mm-hmm. If there's a strong relationship with her partner, the surrogacy will be fine. And again, not trying to be argumentative, when you have a baby inside of you, those babies, like, I'm not one that says, the pregnancy is in a bad environment, the baby will be bad. But I do think that it can affect how they come out, how they are when they're little. If they're in a calm environment when they're in the womb and they come out, I think that there's a chance that they're going to be calm. I think that just seems like common sense to me.
That's a very big deal.
And that's another thing. So when we're, she's pregnant with someone else's baby, I almost feel like we're more cautious about it because
it's not ours.
That
we can mess up.
we, our kids, we can scream and holler at each other because we're dealing with it when they come out. But like when it's someone else's, I think we were probably a little more cautious than we were with our kids.
I bet the sex life was a little, you're like, oh, don't want to poke over here. Don't want to poke over there. Got somebody else's baby in you.
That was the one time I don't think I was cautious. I didn't really think about it when that was going on.
Yeah. That kind of went out.
Luckily, it all turned out fine, so it's okay.
All good. Okay, so would you do it again if you were like young enough?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. I love being pregnant. If I could be pregnant for the rest of my life, I would. It just makes me a chill person. I'm happy. I don't feel bad about what I eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, my body's like, we're done.
Well, yeah, for sure. Because you're what now, 44?
I just turned 46.
46?
Mm-hmm. Just turned 46 last weekend.
My time is like
I know it
That's
doesn't
crazy.
seem
Crazy.
real. But yeah, if I was younger, I would 100% do it again.
So the workshop, do you talk to surrogates too? Like, do you?
So here's how it's going down. So I created this workshop that's basically they can buy the like I've gone behind the scenes and I have basically from the beginning to end of my experience. So peeling back the business model of an agency, talking to all those different agencies, figuring out what they charge, all the different elements, the pillars that go into it, what's important. So I went and just it's this really cool, like, I don't even want to call it a PowerPoint because that sounds, but it's like all these graphics, audio, video of me walking them through. And then I'll have this inside of there too for people, but I have my attorney did a podcast, life insurance did a podcast. We talk escrow. We talk about everything from like beginning to end, how you market yourself, build your A-team. Because my strategy with this, because what you were saying is like talking to people who aren't a fit, it is so important that you feel the way or some of the way that I felt about you, where I felt like this baby would be cared for. There was never a moment where I felt anything other than just blessed and like this good feeling. And you can't discount that because you're so desperate for a baby that you just are going to look for the first person.
Yeah.
So my strategy is starting with your core. And so who loves you more than your core? No one. So you enlist your A-team that's closest to you that have access to pockets of people. For example, Jesse Pizzuti.
Yeah.
People who maybe if you have a teacher who has access to an email list in a school system. Of course, labor and delivery nurses. Dr. Shepard, she has 45 practitioners. You create that marketing material, you galvanize your core, and you give them all the things they need, and then you send them out, and then you go into the universe. And I believe 1,000,000% that is a better strategy. If you are, so the workshop is for someone who, first of all, cannot afford a $150,000 ticket for an agency. They can't afford a 2-year wait list. Not all of them have that, but there are some. And if you are resourceful and you can manage a complex process. So like there are different things. You're dealing with legal, you're dealing with life insurance, escrow, the surrogate relationship, the what ifs that come with growing a life inside of you. So you have to be able to kind of Aaron Brockovich the situation, but there are me's out there who this is perfect for they won't have to spend all of that. And I believe that, too, the surrogate should get paid more than what they get paid. So like if you're not paying all that money, then maybe you could even if it's like 10% more, or, some of these surrogates are making $30,000. That's not enough, especially when you see the agency getting paid $150,000.
Yeah.
Now 30 is low on the low end, but still the surrogate's the hero.
Yep.
So the workshop is basically plug and play. You do it yourself. I'm here for like help Q&A wise. But then if you want to hire me to do the one-on-one, then I will enlist my network with your network, walk with you, and take the lead on managing this stuff so you don't have to.
That's amazing.
For like a fraction of the price.
That's amazing. I mean, there has to be a huge market for that.
Yes.
I think it's funny when we went through the first surrogacy, I think people that we would talk to,
pretty new.
people we would talk to would be like, she's doing what? Is that even a thing? And with the second one, there were still plenty of people that didn't understand what it was. But I do feel like more people we talked to, maybe they knew us and they knew what we had already been through, but I do think that it's becoming more and more a thing, and people are getting more familiar with it than it was when we did it the first time.
One of the nurses that I worked with in the ER, she just was a surrogate for her sister last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's becoming more common.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, and you have same-sex couples trying to get pregnant and build families. You have women who are older. And you have just the people who have medical conditions that are putting their bodies at risk because they don't feel like there's another way. So I do. I mean, the demand for it is ridiculous, and I just want to be like, I can't wait. Like, this is so new, and I've started talking to couples. I am so excited to get my first couple where I'm like, that couple, we gonna find somebody. Like we got like I'm hitching, like I am, like I cannot, Dr. Shepard's ready to like light up all the same marketing. I have a sister now that's an OB. I mean, you're in the NICU.
I'm in the NICU.
We have
I'm
got
happy to
so
spread the
many
word.
right. And like
Yeah.
just with this community that I've built that they hear surrogacy, I want you to think Keri Croft, surrogacy, like I say it all the time. I just can't wait. Like I'm so excited.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
So for people who are having the conversation, or maybe this just gave them a light bulb moment of like, oh my God, I never thought about being a surrogate. What would be like the biggest piece of advice for the couple considering it?
Biggest piece of advice. Well, the couple, they have to be on the same page. So you've got to talk it out and be on the same page.
And there can
right
be
off
there,
the bat.
yeah, there can be doubt when you're first talking about it, but when you sign on the dotted line, for lack of a better term, you have to be 100% on the same page.
Yeah.
You have to be. There cannot be. It can't be my side, the husband, father can't say, I mean, I think it'll be fine. Then don't do it. Because then, you talked about what kind of arguments did you have at the end? What kind of conflict did you have? I think that conflict comes from not being on the same page right from the start. And again, take your time. Don't jump into it. Like, don't let the wife or the surrogate or the spouse, don't let them take control and just say, we're doing it. Take the time to talk about it. Take the time to research. Make sure you really understand what it means. Yeah, it worked out great for us, but I'm sure that for every story that we have, there's probably 10 stories where it's not like that. And so you really need to make sure you do your research and you are on the same page.
And you have to stay on the same page.
You're right.
Like you
right.
have to communicate through the entire thing.
Yeah, you can't say, oh yeah, I'm 100% in, and then 1 month into it say, well, I mean, I wasn't really 100% in. That's not going to work. It doesn't work like that.
Well, and you really did walk the walk.
Yeah.
Because to say that you're 100% in, but then, you went, and I'm not saying you have to come to every single appointment, but you went to every single appointment. You didn't miss one.
Yeah.
And so I think when you're considering it, you have to remember, like, you should treat it as if it was your child in terms of commitment to the partner.
Right.
And maybe try to come to, if you can't make all of them, like really be as supportive as you can, walking the walk, as opposed to like, yeah, you got a yes from me, so I'm going to be a dick the rest of the 9 months, and you go do that.
I'm going to be over here.
Yeah. That's a great point. That's a great point. Being involved. You need to you can't just say I'm in, but then not be involved.
Yeah,
like
it's
you
not
have
just
to
her
be
thing.
involved in it.
You're in it together.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
And like in terms of preparing emotionally and mentally before stepping into the journey, I think just time, research, communication,
Definitely.
and going with your gut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And really understanding, like talk to people that have been surrogates. I'm sure that there are resources out there, that there are people that are willing to talk to you. Talk to a surrogate and see what it's like to carry a baby for 9 months and then give it up. Like that's what I can't. That's what I can't. I just from my side, I can't wrap my head. I just can't wrap my head around that. What emotionally what that does to a surrogate. I mean, I just can't. I just can't even imagine.
Question that I get every time I tell somebody that I've been a surrogate. Like, how can you carry a baby and then just give it up? Like, well, I'm not giving it up. Like, I was basically babysitting. Like, I feel like in my brain, I just am able to look at it as like babysitting. I'm fostering, this beautiful baby and for a family. And it's the most fulfilling and rewarding thing that you could ever imagine. And being able to do that for another family it's just indescribable. So I was never giving up my baby because it wasn't my baby. You know what I mean?
I do. And I think that brings up a great point. When you're beginning your search for a surrogate, one of the reasons why it's so important to do a very thorough psychological background check, and that the surrogate has a very stable support system, i.e. your family and your friends, because if you did get someone who was not mentally stable, they could sort of muddy the waters there. And so it's super important to do your research, understand what the person's home life is. Have they had a background check from a psychological perspective? Like, what is their angle?
Have they had babies of their own?
Yes. Have they had babies of their own? Which that is, again, you should not have a surrogate that did not have a proven, in my opinion, I would never suggest a surrogate that didn't already have a proven successful pregnancy, ever. I don't care how desperate you are for a child. That's not in my medical experience. In my common sense, practical experience, and I think any legal or medical person would probably back me up with that, is like number 1, 2, and 3, have they had successful pregnancies in the past? So, all of that to say, taking your time and really the gut feel, like, okay, they check these boxes, which is all great, but what's your gut read on this and your intuition? Because it really does.
Spend some time, like the families and the surrogates, spend some time together.
Yep.
Before you sign anything, before you agree to anything, spend at least a little bit of time. Have a couple meetings in different environments. Don't just go to the surrogate's house or the family's house. Go out to dinner one night. Go to the park. Be around other kids. Like, see what the family's like around other kids for the surrogate, and see what the surrogate's like around other kids for families. I mean, it's and the surrogates have to be, everyone's got to be patient and understanding of the process. But there's a lot of stuff that's uncomfortable. There's a lot of questions that are uncomfortable that the family has a right to ask and that the surrogate has a right to ask. I mean, everyone's got to understand that this is not a, oh, sweet, I'm going to make some money. This is going to be fun for 9 months. It's not it's not that simple.
No, not at all.
Understand it's a process. Understand that it's going to be uncomfortable at times.
Yeah, which is also why you have to have a lot of smart people who know what the hell they're doing. Because to your point too, it's like your beliefs around, like, what if you have to somehow abort the baby? What if the baby has a severe chromosomal issue? What if there's something like health risk for you? What if you go, I mean, there are a million things. And that's where the legal team my legal team out of Cincinnati was like top notch. So great, and just helped. You can't avoid every landmine. Like, you never know what's going to happen. There could be some crazy circumstance, but for the most part, if you get a legal team and your life insurance, but they will help you with your life insurance, like all the policies, they have seen things. They know what to look for. They understand all of the details, like how many embryos are you going to, like how many times are you going to try if you keep miscarrying. Like, that was one thing with us when you said earlier about the hiccup when we had the miscarriage. I was like, oh God, are they going to be done because you're going through a miscarriage on my behalf, right? I was just a wreck over that. And, when and not that to say you couldn't have said, I can't do this anymore, but up front, you make that decision together, like, we'll do this. I think it was like 3 times or something. Yeah. So there's all those, like, the more detailed and just really like pragmatic and methodical you can be in the beginning. It just helps so much.
No matter how absurd the question seems, ask it.
Yes.
It does not matter how ridiculous it seems or how over the top it seems. There was stuff with the first one, and I was like, well, you're going to have a whole new wardrobe, right? I mean, like, are we buying clothes? It's not something you would even think about, but like, no matter how ridiculous you think the question is, ask it.
Yeah. And if your attorneys are good, which they should be, they put stuff in there for that. They give you like a monthly stipend for things, or, in our situation too, people ask us all the time about the relationship and like the communication. And I'm like, I would always like once a month want to do something nice for them because I wanted to. But Skye was also very good at just receiving. She wasn't like, we didn't have to go through this back and forth of like, but I'm like, I want to do this. She's like, great, I will receive this. And so we would do
like dinner again?
Hell yeah. Did Dan's coming?
DoorDash and what?
Right.
Take it.
But again, we had that, like, I liked talking to you. I liked all of that, but you can build that stuff into an agreement where, like, if you're like, I can also understand, like, being an intended parent, like, let's say you were really mourning the loss of being able to carry your own child, and this was not a happy process for you. Like, my situation was one situation. So you have to remember, somebody else, it may be triggering, like even talking to a surrogate, right? Which seems counterintuitive, but it's out there. And so you can build those things in ahead of time to be like, hey, I want to really care for this person, but I can't really have communication, but all of that up front. Don't wait. Do not wait.
And be honest about it up front.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another big question is being in the room. Does the surrogate want you to be in the room for the delivery? I'm sure there are some surrogates, maybe not. I would feel like most of them would probably be okay with it. But of course we had our adjoining rooms, and I kept coming into your room. Like, so do you think it's awkward if I come back in? I know you're in labor and everything, but I kind of miss you guys. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have that with every relationship, but I was sad when you guys, remember me? I was sad when you guys left the hospital.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
That means, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was sad too.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, you have to just be so diligent. Like, for example, when I had this recent conversation with life insurance, they just came out with miscarriage insurance. So as of January. And so all these different things that are available or changes, and like surrogacy changes state by state and all the shit that goes on. Make sure you have someone in your corner that's been there and that knows what the hell they're doing. You know? Sure. Anything else, like misconceptions or anything you want people to know about couples that choose to be surrogates?
I think, and I know we keep coming back to this, but I definitely think that the surrogate and their partner have to be honest with themselves and honest about their relationship with themselves. I think that deep down, people know who they are. And you either know that this is something you can do or you don't. You're either a selfish person or you're not a selfish person. I don't care which way you go. But you have to be honest because this is a legitimate commitment. This is not like, we'll try it out and if it doesn't work, fine. That's not how this works. And so I think that as a couple, you have to be honest with yourselves that you're strong enough to go through this. This is not for everybody. This is not just a paycheck. This is something that is going to affect you physically, emotionally, both people, not just the surrogate. And I think that if you cannot be honest and say, we are strong enough to get through something like this. Imagine, because I think for me, I always imagine the worst and decide if I can handle the worst. You know what I mean? So we get 6 months into it and something happens. Skye is at risk. We have to make these kinds of decisions. Are we strong enough? Not am I strong enough? Are we strong enough to handle that? And if you can honestly say that you're strong enough to handle, as a couple, to handle the worst case scenario, then you should do it because it's going to be hard to find anything more rewarding, even as a couple, not just the surrogate, but even as the partner. It's unbelievable.
We were all in
really
tears.
Unbelievable. I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't in tears.
Oh no, you were. Your eyes were really.
You can cut that.
Your eyes were really dry that day.
You can cut that. I was not in tears. My kids might listen to this. I don't cry in front of them. You can cut that.
Oh my god! I mean, that was like like those pictures too that we had. I mean, it just like I felt like my body had left the ground, you know, and like having the whole village, having that experience, and like that's where you look at it and you're like, well, shit, you know. This may sound weird to most people, and most people don't have to go through this, but for those who do, like to make sure they get something in that neighborhood of that experience is very important to me.
Yeah.
They deserve that. Because if you're in that situation, you've probably worked really, really hard, and you're probably in an emotional state, and like you deserve the other side of the rainbow. And you guys were definitely the other side of the rainbow for us, big time.
It was legitimately surreal. I'm not an overly emotional person. I'm not I don't have all these higher ideas about life and what things are like, but it was something. It is completely indescribable. And
you know, to your point about it's not just a paycheck, it's like if it's really great to get some money, for sure. Are you kidding me? If you have all the other stuff with it, like you love being pregnant, you have, had really great pregnancies, you have a partner who's on board, the money should be like it should be on the list, but it should be the last thing on the list, because to your point, the unthinkable or the shit that you have to go through, and when you divide all that by like 11 months or whatever, it's fine, but it's not like you're getting $10 million. Yeah. I mean, so I think you balance the altruism, and then, oh, by the way, I get a nice, chunk of change to do X, Y, and Z with. But if you're front loading with, oh, we can make some quick cash.
That's why you're doing it.
It's not. Don't do it. No, don't do it. I definitely could not agree with that more. And I just don't think you're going to be the right. You have to have the heart.
For sure.
Right. Anything else before we close out this wonderful, awe-inspiring chat with two of my absolute faves?
I don't know. Just it's the most fulfilling thing that you could ever do. So if there's anybody that wants to be a surrogate and you know that, you can do it, you're not worried about, giving up the baby. Maybe you're worried about what's going on with your body, whatnot. Just do it. It's the most fulfilling thing you could ever imagine.
Yeah. And again, be honest. Like I said, trust your wife. Like, she knows her body. She knows what she can handle. But you need to, as the partner, you need to make sure that you can handle it.
Yeah.
And don't lie to yourself and don't say, well, I'm going to do it because she wants to do it. That's not a reason to do it.
Yeah.
You need to make sure you understand it's a commitment. When people get pregnant and you go through the pregnancy and you're like, well, it's okay. It's worth this. It's worth the suffering because we're going to have a baby at the end. We're going to have a kid. Well, is it worth the suffering to then not have the baby?
Not gonna have the baby.
You're not going home with this. Like, the reason people get pregnant, ideally, is because they want to have kids. And you're doing that part of it without the final part. Like, the whole reason that you did it in the first place. You don't have that reason.
Yeah.
So make sure you understand this is not a normal pregnancy. This is not, oh, my wife's just pregnant again. That is not even close to what this is. Yeah. Physically it is, but everything else involved is not. It's not a normal pregnancy.
Yeah, him being so supportive and there for all the appointments and like at my side the entire time was a game changer. Like that, I couldn't have done it without you.
You guys are cute. You really are.
Yeah, it's taking a lot of work. It's taking a lot of time to get to this. This cuteness.
Listen, let's do a little pivot here into just marriage, shall we? If we were all just being honest, marriage is the universe's design to like fuck with you. Like it is truly can be the best thing in the world, but it can also be one of the most frustrating. Like it's like the world is like
day.
Oh,
it can be all that in the same day.
Yeah. And it's like, no, we're going to put you with this person. There's no way out. There's no way out.
Yeah.
You fuckers, figure it out. The more you're honest and just show your light, everybody else is like, oh, I feel seen. And then we can just like have better conversations and relationships and besides that, I do hate to spoil everybody's like facade. People know, we all know, two human beings living together, it's a challenge. You ever cry over Skye? Like, because you love her so much?
That's some weird question. Very loaded. That's a loaded question.
I feel like there's so much, Skye.
I feel like there's no way I get out of this without either looking like a giant pussy or an asshole.
But you're my baby. You're my all-time lady.
I get emotional sometimes.
No, yes. I'm sure you do. But men have, again, you have to have more of a, there's a natural veneer,
there's
when you're
no
a man.
doubt. And there's no doubt that I think that, again, such a cliche, but society is built up that this is what's masculine and this is what's not masculine. And I think that there are guys, I don't think that I subscribe to that. I don't think that I hold my emotions in because I feel like I need to be masculine. I feel like it's just
the way you were raised.
The way I was raised. I mean, my dad doesn't show a ton of emotion. It's just not his thing. And I think that's what I kind of fell into, that same kind of thought process.
We could have a whole other podcast about marriage, though.
Oh, my gosh.
Couldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got lots of advice and lots of stories.
And just like our experiences, she has parents that are still married, grandparents stayed married the whole time. I have parents that were divorced and remarried, and grandparents that were divorced when they were grandparents and remarried. So we have a lot of... We've seen a lot of stuff, a lot of options.
No, it's a whole thing. Well, I love you guys.
We love you.
We love you.
You're
guys
you're like my faves. And I can't wait for us to have another gathering. I don't know what it's going to be.
This summer, you guys can come swim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Please. I need to justify the cost of owning a pool, so please come and use it.
All right, you two. You've made my week.
We love you. You made our week too.
Thank you.
I was so excited to come here.
And I've got Shep Dog coming in this week. I've got Dr. Jane coming in. It's just it's a jam-packed.
Oh, Dr. Jane.
Yeah,
I love
it's
Dr.
a jam-packed infertility series and family building April. All right, guys, if you're still out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, have questions about surrogacy, reach out to me. Clearly, I know people who know people who know people. And if you're looking for a surrogate, just go to kericroft.com and look at my Find Your Dream Surrogate workshop. And until next time, keep moving, baby. If you've made it to the end of this episode, thank you so much for listening. And if infertility is part of your story, we've created a few powerful ways to support you. During the month of May, we're launching a free Slack channel because we know firsthand just how isolating infertility can be. Whether you're navigating IVF, grieving a loss, exploring surrogacy, or just need a safe place to exhale, this space is here for you. It's more than a chat thread. It's a community of support, shared stories, and quiet strength. Come as you are, ask the questions, share the wins and the heartbreaks, and know that you are not alone in this.